It's officially the second half of 2024, and a lot of things have happened. It has been a roller coaster of a year so far, and after many loop-de-loops of events, I feel like I'm kind of riding a hill of uncertainty, if you will. And if you've been feeling like this too, then hopefully this video will be a little letter of encouragement to you to stop dreaming and start doing, even in uncertain times. But let's rewind. To say that this year has not gone the way I planned would be an understatement. Which is funny, because I didn't really have much of a plan going into this year. I entered 2024 with a level of uncertainty that is a bit unusual for me. If you've been hanging out with me on my art journey here for the last couple of years, you know I love setting really big, year-long challenges. It gives me some direction for the year, something to be consistently working toward. But at the end of 2023, I was a little burnt out, and I decided to make more space for creative spontaneity and rest by not setting any really big goals. I did have a couple smaller goals, but nothing that was gonna give me some grand purpose for the year. And I'm not gonna lie, that feeling of not knowing where I'm going has been quite uncomfortable at times. But all that extra space for play has taught me a lot, as I mentioned in this video. I've learned to be much more intentional about incorporating creativity into every week. I've learned which social medias are beneficial for my art business and which ones aren't. I've learned that I truly love teaching and helping other creatives develop their artistic skills. But even this space of uncertainty was somewhat planned. I had chosen to step into the unknown and explore new things in my art and business without having some big end goal in mind. I like to think I have control over things. I don't, but I like to think I do. So even this choice was me still trying to have a little bit of control over my life. Choosing to be fun and spontaneous. But what about when life throws you into the uncertainty? When you have zero control over the situation? When that uncertainty is not a choice? Well, it's a lot less fun, let me tell ya. Here's a little story time of my dose of true uncertainty this year. So in this video, I talked a little bit about how my summer is full of events, and I really wanted to be on my A game for them. Super strong, super healthy. I was gonna be doing weightlifting, keeping up with my yoga and Pilates practices, fueling my body with lots of nutritious food, and of course, some ice cream.
Because it is one of the major food groups, and don't let anyone tell you any different.
I was pumped. I did lots of research on what weightlifting movements were most optimal, how much protein I needed to eat, how to progressively overload my muscles. I was ready to be in the best shape of my life for these events. Oh, sweet summer child, how she had a rude awakening ahead of her. And this is where the truly unplanned, uncertain things started happening. I got very, very sick the day after my birthday at the beginning of May and was down for about 2.5 weeks. I napped most of those days away and basically lived off of chicken soup and cough drops, so you can bet I was not hitting my protein goals, and the extent of my weightlifting was shifting Annie Jane a little to the left if her claw was digging into my arm while we cuddled on the couch. I finally started to get a little bit better and was able to do some painting, which is what you're seeing here. I was finally on the mend and completely ready for life to get back to normal so I could do the things that I wanted to do. A week went by and whatever illness I had the first time came back with a sucker punch of vengeance. I was down for another 2 or 3 weeks, repeating my chicken soup and cough drop meal plan. All the while, no work was getting done other than the occasional sketch when I wasn't napping and my hands weren't too shaky from breathing treatments.
Which was not often, let me tell ya.
So I began the healing process once again, and thank the Lord I was able to volunteer at camp again this summer. That is one of my favorite events of the year. Still doing breathing treatments when I got home in the evenings.
But hey, I was there, so I'm gonna call that a win.
So I felt better for about a week after that, then you guessed it, got sick again. Thankfully, the third round wasn't too bad. I was able to keep up with most of my work and not nap every day. But I'm not gonna lie, by round 3, I was getting a little frustrated. I couldn't do the things I wanted to do right now, like paint and keep up with my business. But on a deeper level, I started kind of questioning if I could do the bigger things that I wanted to do in life. After this seemingly endless cycle of sickness, honestly, I was just scared. Y'all know I talk pretty openly on here about dealing with chronic illness, between the adrenal insufficiency, having wimpy lungs that are just drawn to bronchitis, and whatever undiagnosed crap makes my body do the things it does and not do the things it should. I'm not a stranger to dealing with health issues. That's just always been a part of life for me, and I've come to terms with that. But a few illnesses last year and then this cycle of illness this year have been kind of a brutal wake-up call to the reality that my body doesn't play by normal rules and that my life more than likely is not going to look the way I want it to. I can make all the plans I want regarding health and fitness and my business and the activities I want to participate in, but at the end of the day, I don't really have control over that. And honestly, that's filled me with a lot of fear lately. It's made me rethink a lot of the goals and dreams that I have for myself. Dreams of traveling and seeing the world. Or on a smaller scale, ideally, I'd like to move out of my parents' house at some point. But I'm kind of wondering now, is living on my own even a possibility? Both physically and financially. When weeks on end illnesses aren't an uncommon occurrence and I can't work during that time period, can I make my art business work financially to support myself? And not just that, is it even safe for me to live on my own with some of the problems I have? 95% of the time, yes, it'd be perfectly fine. But those times when I'm sick and not always fully with it, that could turn south very quickly. And this is the space of uncertainty that is just downright scary for me, because I don't know what the future holds, and I don't know if I'm capable of doing all the things I dream about doing. But while all of this has been kind of a wake-up call that maybe some of my dreams are unreachable, it's also been a kick in the pants to try for the ones that might be. To stop dreaming about things and start doing them. Because none of those things are ever gonna happen if I don't at least take the first step towards them. As I look back over the first half of this year, I do see some really good things. I see where I had a dream and I did something about it. I dreamt of starting the Curious Creatives tier on Patreon. I wanted the space to explore with other creatives and learn along with them. Was I qualified for this? Absolutely not. Did I expect anybody to join?
To be honest, not really.
But here we are 5 months in with a group 24 strong, and it's one of the most fulfilling things in my life. I see where I had an idea to paint a little girl in a submarine just watching in wonder at the neon jellyfish outside her window. The idea is a bit outside of what I usually do, and the color palette is way outside what I usually use, but I had a dream to make this idea a real illustration, and I did something about it. I took the idea and ran with it. I see where I had a dream to nurture my creative practice and to really fall back in love with it, and it's happening right now because I stopped dreaming and I started doing. I'm going through my nurture workbook again with a new intention, and the things I've made during that process have completely sparked my creative spirit again. And I'm making things I didn't even know I could make, because I stepped into the uncertainty and took steps to make it happen. And all the while, circumstances haven't been ideal. Did some of the dreams I had kind of fall by the wayside when I pursued them? Yes. Sometimes life just gets in the way, or you realize your dream wasn't actually what you wanted. If we always waited for a magic 8-ball to say,
Yes, you are most definitely gonna achieve this,
or waited for the quote-unquote right time to go after our dreams, we'd never get anything done. That certainty just doesn't exist. There will always be roadblocks and distractions and things holding us down. The uncertainty isn't gonna go away, but we have to decide to just do it anyway, to stop dreaming and start doing, because at the end of the day, no one else is gonna do it for you. So where does this leave us right now? What do I want to stop dreaming about and start doing? I'm still not setting any huge goals for the second half of the year, because I have several projects I'm already working on, but I do have some smaller dreams I want to at least try for. Number 1, entering an art competition. So this one's technically achieved because I did enter it last month, but the judging hasn't started yet. Anywho, I've been thinking about this one for a few years now and just couldn't seem to put on my bravery boots and do it. But I saw recently that the Beautiful Bazaar Art Prize competition was still open this summer. I read through the requirements, perused past entries, and did a lot of thinking. I was a bit hesitant because my art doesn't look anything like the past winners, and just putting yourself out there for critique is kind of scary. But I wanted to do this. I wanted to enter and share my art in a bigger way. So I entered this illustration titled Waltz of the Jellyfish and my Meraki Meadow Market illustration. Like I said, my art doesn't look like most of the other entries I saw, so I have no idea if I even have a shot at the finals. But honestly, the more I thought about it, I realized that didn't even matter to me that much. Don't get me wrong, winning the competition would be insanely cool and I would probably pee my pants with excitement, but in the end, my love for these two pieces exceeded my fears over entering. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and I'd rather enter and not win than let fear cripple me from entering at all. Number 2, keep nurturing my creative practice. Like I said earlier, I've been in full-on creative mode lately, and it has been an absolute blast. I've been exploring different mediums again, using up old scraps of paper, and creating simply for fun. I'm not looking at each of them thinking,
well, how can I turn this into a product?
Or,
but this doesn't really match my usual style.
I'm just making one thing every day and not worrying about the end result. Nurturing my creative practice this year has been less about learning new skills and more about redeveloping old ones. The skill of discipline in particular. Being disciplined to show up consistently to create, even when it's uncomfortable. Even when I'd rather watch another episode of Hilda or keep doom scrolling on social media. I have so many ideas for art I want to make, but if I can't even show up for myself to start, it's never gonna be made. I get a lot of questions about how to grow as an artist, how to get back to art after burnout, and how to maintain a consistent art practice. And probably the most important answer is very easy to say, and sometimes feels absolutely impossible to do. Show up. You have to show up for your creativity. You have to choose to stop doom scrolling and start making marks on the page. All of the art advice and technical skills themselves don't make any kind of difference if you don't make the decision to be there and make something. To stop dreaming about all the amazing illustrations you can make and actually make them, because you absolutely can. The act of creating is uncertain. You never know if you're going to end up liking what you make, and that's really scary. But every time you make the choice to step into that uncertainty and create something anyway, you become an even better artist. So number 3, okay, I lied. This one is kind of a big one, and honestly, I'm a little nervous to even share this.
Anyways, it's probably not going to happen this year, but I do want to start working toward it. I don't even know what else involved with making this happen, so maybe some research would be a good place to start.
Anyhow, so I want to create a sketch collection art book. I have so enjoyed doing my weekly Meraki Monday sketches in this little mini sketchbook, and I'm rapidly running out of pages. A lot of you guys have really connected with these. I've gotten so many comments and messages from you guys saying,
I didn't know Bits was a runner like me,
or
I feel just like Bobbles today,
or
I wish I could have a picnic with them.
Bits and Bobbles and the Meraki Meadow are my biggest passion project, and I love that you guys connect with them so deeply. So once I'm finished with the sketchbook, I want to scan all the pages and turn it into a mini art book for you guys. I'd include some of the poems I've written for them, or maybe little short stories, I don't know. This is definitely a really big dream of mine, but I want to start taking the steps to make it happen. If you've printed an art book of your own or know literally anything about art book printing, please let me know. Any tips or advice would be extremely welcome. The 4th and final thing, start reaching out to sponsors for my channel. I actually talked to Kelsey Rodriguez in a video over on her channel about this, and I still haven't gotten around to doing it. Pitching yourself to potential sponsors is quite scary. Are they gonna think I'm asking for too much compensation? Will they even want to work with me? I have a few ideas in mind for potential sponsors, but I haven't really gotten up the courage yet to send them an email. But this is an opportunity to take my own advice and stop dreaming and start doing. So those are some of the things I'm going to be working toward while we finish out the year, and I'd love to know what dreams you're going to be working toward too. One thing I haven't been uncertain about this year is the purpose behind my art. The motto of my art has always been, see the good. To see the good in life and to glorify my creator by sharing that good with others through my illustrations. Because we're all facing uncertainties. We all have bad days, we all have things we're afraid of, times we feel directionless, health problems, family problems, financial problems. While our specific problems may be unique to us, the uncomfortable feeling of uncertainty isn't. And that's why I make the things I make. An illustration of a girl happily folding her laundry, or bits and bobbles playing hide and seek. Trying to help people see the joy and good and magic in life, even when the situations they're going through might be uncomfortable. These past few months have definitely been a reminder to me that when all else is uncertain, Christ is my foundation, even when his plan doesn't exactly look the way I want it to. And in all of this, and through all the years before, he's given me art. He's given me a love and ability to express myself through brushstrokes and pencil scratches. I may not know what the future holds and which of my dreams I'll actually be able to achieve, but art has been such a gift to me, and I want to use it and share it as much as I possibly can, whatever that looks like. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me about pursuing your dreams in uncertain times and watching me paint this little illustration. I do have a few prints available of this piece if you want to adopt one for your collection. Huge thank you to the Cozy and Curious Creatives for your support over on Patreon. It absolutely means the world to me that y'all are coming along on my art journey. If you've been wanting to nurture your own creative practice, then head on over to watch this video next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys!